right, what are the main differences, because we get this question a lot, between UV and RO?
It's a massive difference.
Yeah.
It's actually totally like chalk and cheese, if you know that expression. So UV is really imagine it's UV light. So it's like a light bulb, like a tube, where the water runs through, and the light itself, the UV light, is zapping the bugs.
Zapping, yeah. So it's
zapping it. So basically by that they become disabled.
Dead.
They can't do their thing that they normally would do to infiltrate sort of thing into the water, into the body.
Yeah, and so it likely goes through a sediment filter and a carbon filter first. Sediment taking out the debris, and then the carbon filter taking out the chemicals and the heavy metals. So ideally you'd have a very clear water without any particles.
Yeah.
And so then this is kind of pure water, you might say, just with dead living organisms in it.
Yeah, I could say so, yeah. Okay. Whereas reverse osmosis is a system that is like going through very fine mesh. Where it's like 0.0001 micron. Right. It's so small that we can't see that at all, of course. And there's no even sediment and minerals get stuck in there. That's unfortunately the trade-off to get rid of severe contamination. But it's not so difficult to add minerals at the end, remineralize the water. And for that, it's worth doing it. The other trade-off is the reverse osmosis system actually uses a lot of water. So we get about 1/4 of water to 3/4 of the water being wasted.
Yeah.
It can be collected, that wastewater.
To 3/4?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's huge.
Depends on the machine, I guess.
It depends also a bit on the type of reverse osmosis.
Yeah.
Some of the best now modern reverse osmosis system makes it to about half-half, which is a major improvement. But still, it's quite a lot of water.
Yeah.
So when we talk about tank water, for example, let's say we would have major contamination in tank water. This is a real difficult act to actually then use an RO for tank water because we use so much water. It can be done if we collect the wastewater and use the wastewater for certain applications in the house, which like toilet, for example, or whatever.
Yeah, right.
But of course, that all needs to be plumbed separately.
Yeah.
But generally, I would not use an RO for tank water for that reason.
Yeah. And so what would you, I mean, are you suggesting that UV would be good for someone who is on rural supply with living bacteria as more of an issue? And RO is more of a solution for if you've got high chemical contamination or, just high contamination in general and don't have an issue with water supply?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In general terms, that's right, yeah.
All right. Okay, so now we get to talk about something that I'm really passionate about, and I know that you are. It's the second step. It's what makes Ionza different to a normal filtration company. It's about, for want of a better word, how we bring the water back to life. So we might have safe water, but we want to have a health elixir. You know, we want to have a substance which is back to its original state as possible, or is serving our hydration as best as possible. And so let's talk about different ways that we can do that. In fact, if you can speak to the different options we've got available in terms of the hydrogen and the ionizers and the minerals, if you can give us a bit of an overview about that.
So it's interesting what you said at the beginning. How can we bring water back to life? So let's say we've got bottled water. Yes, it's hydrating, yeah? Anytime I go to the supermarket and I'm urgent about getting water because I have forgot my water bottle, whatever, yes, I can hydrate myself with that. How well hydrating is another issue, yeah? But to bring back something to life like the water, there's a lot more to be had. And one thing that instantly comes to mind is electrons in the water. And people who listen to that now might say, huh?
Yeah.
What's that? Well, I've never heard about that.
Tap out, so it's
But interesting enough, I just look out to this beautiful banana plant out there, which the listeners or viewers can't see there right now, but there is one out there. And I see the sun just at the moment illuminating it. And what's happening right now, it's photosynthesis. And in that process, there are electrons produced in the vines of the plant that are enlivening and producing movement in the water flow in the plant.
So it's like the electrical current. I spoke to a friend, and it was as though we felt as though the water may be our conduit, may be like our electrical wiring system in our body. When you think of it like it having a charge, and it does, it's like the negative and the positive. So this is quite cool. Yeah.
So really, when and that goes now also, what is in the body that actually produces our water?
Yeah.
It's our blood.
Yeah.
Right? And so when we now look into what actually constitutes blood, in the blood has got blood cells. When they are electrically charged as they are supposed to be, and when we look into a serum of blood, we actually see the blood cells swirling freely like ping pong balls in a liquid. And when we get too inflamed in the body, when our blood has inflammation going on, what do the blood cells do? They stick together. They lost their electrical charge. And therefore, as a result, the blood becomes heavy, liquid, sluggish, and it doesn't actually, it's harder to pump through the blood. Therefore, we are more tired. We lost energy. And that goes together with electrons. But as soon as people, I mean, I'm sure the viewers and listeners, they've heard that plenty of times from their nutritionist, eat greens. How come? Because greens have got fresh electrons there. They only last a few days, and then the plant wilts and it's over.
Yeah, I often think of water being like a vegetable in that respect. If you put water into a bucket, over a long period of time of stagnation, it loses its charge. Is that right?
It's life. We're coming back to what you said earlier, life. And so to enlivening water, if it hasn't been already, if it's not already alive because we actually source it from a spring where it's really bubbling through rocks and there's lots of movement, then we actually need to enliven again. And so introducing electrons is one of the really important things to make water alive again.
Yeah, amazing. What about hydrogen?
So you just ask, what about hydrogen? Now, one of the things that scientists found out when they looked at the healing springs in the world, they really wanted to know what's going on here, that these villagers are in such good health and go to 100 easy, whereas others in other villages that's not happening like that.
Blue zones, is that what it's called?
Well, it's blue zones as well, but it's just that there are healing springs in the world that produce that effect. And one of the things that really was outstanding clear in their research and testing is hydrogen in there. So it's free molecular hydrogen. And because you could say, well, hydrogen, H2O, of course there's hydrogen in water. It's made up of that. But it's about the free molecular hydrogen that's available to the body when you drink that makes the difference. And why? Because the free molecular hydrogen is a very powerful antioxidant. In the element scale, somebody in theory all done chemistry and biology in school there, and so we came across the element scale where hydrogen is number 1.
It's the
and so it's the smallest atom or molecule that is actually on the planet. And not surprising, molecular hydrogen is the only, because it's the smallest atom or molecule, atom/molecule enabled to go through cells really fast. So here also through body cells. But that is super powerful as an antioxidant.
And so what would one expect to have in terms of hydrogen content in their tap water at home, in their town supply?
Well, we tested it plenty of times. There's no free molecular hydrogen in normal tap water. There's none.
Do you, I mean, just bottled water? Do you know?
No, it's none. None.
Yeah, and so if we put hydrogen in the water, how long does it last?
It lasts, well, it's a bit like with ionized water in total, also with the electrons in the water. It's similar. We basically have got fresh, in the moment that we make it fresh, we've got a very good charge in there. Like with our hydrogen water ionizer machines, we get maybe 1,200 parts per billion.
Which is heaps.
That's a lot, And a few hours later, when the water lets even be moved, like let's say we put that into a bottle and we're going on a ride to town, whatever, for half an hour or whatever long it takes, then there is probably only about 20% left.
Right, yeah. So
After
it's really
3-4 hours.
fast.
Yeah, so it's very simple. We drink this water fresh several times a day. That's why we talked a little bit earlier today about bottling water. And I said, well, I've had this idea for many years to bottle water. But every time I cross this, I always go back to, no, I don't want to do that because I want to offer the people the best water. Make the water fresh and re-enliven it with those devices, with those machines.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, that's exciting. And so what about the pH? I think we should touch on the pH because, I mean, I listened recently to Science and it was interesting because it made me realise that, yes, there's proof in the people's response to this water that higher pH is good for you, but it seems like the science as to proving why keeps changing.
Yeah, or why it can't be working.
Yeah.
Because there's plenty on the internet say, it's not possible to change the pH in the body because as soon as you drink something alkaline in the body, then the hydrochloric acid is going to eliminate it and gone. So what are you talking about? You know, that kind of thing.
Yeah, there's lots of different reasons, but I guess at the end of the day, you know, the last one was, I think, 10 years ago, and science is always improving. So about 10 years ago, they realised, I mean, you'd know this, but there's two different ways that the cells absorb water. And one of them that they had just discovered was called the aquaporine vessels or something, whatever. At the end, they discovered that higher pH water travels through there much faster. In fact, it might have to be, I can't remember, but it was like a justification as to why higher pH water was good for you. And it was like, it's not so much what we thought it was, it's now this. But I mean, you've dealt with hundreds of clients and thousands of clients, and at the end of the day, if you raise your pH, it's healthier long term. And some people actually get physical symptoms that prove to them that the higher pH is helping them.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of those things, when you go into any issue around health, on the internet you find a whole bunch of them totally disputing what the other bunch of scientists, and they're all scientists, they all think they know the truth of everything, but they just fight with each other about the truth. So if you have to listen to them more, then you believe that, and if you listen to them more, you believe that. So what can you do? So for me, at the end, the proof is in the pudding. That means when I actually, and that's not a placebo anymore, when we give people something that actually does offer some quality as in substance, like here alkaline minerals, and they drink this alkaline water for, let's say, 2-3 months, and they then recover from arthritis. Do you really think it was placebo?
Yeah.
It's very questionable.
Yeah. And it goes hand in hand though, doesn't it? So if you're increasing the hydrogen and adding electrons, does that naturally increase the pH as well?
When you add hydrogen or what?
Add hydrogen or ionize the water.
No, it doesn't. The hydrogen ionizer method does not increase the pH.
Right, but the ionization.
The alkaline water ionizer method, where it splits the water into acid alkaline through electrolysis, that does increase the pH depending on what we choose.
Yeah, so if we're going hydrogen, then you should really add a mineral cartridge, or just make sure that you've got higher pH water.
Well, I've done that in my home because I've always believed in the alkaline water ionizer machines for many years, and but at some stage I wanted to try out what the hydrogen water ionizers can do, but I didn't want to miss out on the alkaline side. So what I did is I put our alkaline cartridge into the mix. By that I get higher alkaline water as well.
In fact, I think that's one of the best combos is our Hydrogen Max machine, along with whatever filtration you might need and an Alka Spring.
That's right, exactly. That's what I've done.
The bomb diggity. Okay, great. So
there's one more comment I want to make about alkaline and improving the pH in the body. when I look at people's health, and because I've been, ever since I've been 16, I've been interested in health. Yeah? And I, over the years, particularly also with running Ionza, I've been very at Expos, probably would be embarrassing if people know that I study them and I talk to them. Their face, their complexion and so on. And so I look at people's complexion and the face, what kind of healthy skin they have or not, and so on. And you can just see when people are too acidic. And they struggle with it. So I think it's really important to be mindful about acidity and alkalinity in the body. And when we take supplements, and that's the thing I want to say, when we go to a nutritionist, they invariably support us by also prescribing supplements, including magnesium. It's a big one. A lot of people are deficient in magnesium. So what is magnesium then? We just, together with a glass of water, take a magnesium tablet. Well, how come that apparently is okay and does something good for us for the pH, and then alkaline water doesn't?
It's the same thing.
Exactly.
Yeah, and a lot of science is suggesting to add that magnesium to your water. There's like pills that you can get. It's the same thing as what our
exactly.
Is. Should I get an ionizer or should I get a hydrogen machine?
An alkaline water ionizer or a hydrogen machine? Well, that's an interesting question. I think that's probably something you sort out by doing a bit of research what the pros and cons are of each, and go with your feeling where you tend to go towards. I start with a water ionizer machine, an alkaline machine, and I still would go anytime with that again, because it does give me quite a high level of hydrogen as well. It's not as good as like 600 parts per billion is pretty good. It's not as good as the as a hydrogen machine with 1200, but really you also need to understand that the alkalinity has got a lot to offer, and it really comes down to you drinking regular and plenty good of fresh water from the machine, and when you do that, you accumulate the hydrogen in your cells, and they store something I haven't mentioned here yet, but hydrogen is actually longer lasting than vitamin C in the cells.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Cool.
And therefore, it actually becomes a, what do you call that? It's a preventative measure, as in it lasts for quite a few days. And if you drink enough of that water with the hydrogen, you basically store hydrogen, and it helps you to have a really good defense.
And I think what a lot of people don't realize is our ionizers produce the hydrogen as well.
That's right.
Exactly. And so they're not called hydrogen machines because they are different in the way that they work, but both of them are producing hydrogen. And I think last time I checked, most of the scientific studies are based on hydrogen-rich water was like 500 parts per billion or million. Billion, thank you. Which is what our machines are offering.
There's one other thing. Like personally, in my home, I'm on tank water. Now, the interesting thing here is whether I go for an alkaline water ionizer or a hydrogen machine. The alkaline water ionizer machine splits the water, and we get about a third acidic water and 2/3 alkaline water. So in strict terms, when we are slack about using the acidic drain water, it's actually wastewater and goes down the drain, which of course for people who are conservative about their tank water, which we mostly are, it's an argument towards maybe going for a hydrogen machine with an alkaline remineralizer, the alka spring attached to it, because then you get the best out of both worlds again. But the hydrogen machine doesn't have that wastewater. There's very little wastewater. So it's good to also bear that in mind.
The reason why we've actually got quite a big range is to meet the different needs of the different people. You do pay for what you get in regards to the control over the pH levels, the range of the pH, the amount of hydrogen. However, you can start off with a portable device, like a portable hydrogen bottle or a hydrogen water jug or an alka jug, and they're really good products that allow you to have healthy water on the go. So you don't need to plug them into anything. You can just fill them up and you can take them traveling. They're fantastic solutions. They're not filtration though. So if you are looking to use those types of products that help bring your water back to life, They might offer a little bit of filtration, but if you're trying to get rid of things like fluoride and heavy metal contamination, then we highly recommend that you look into some of our pre-filtration solutions, and we're here to help along the way. So if it becomes too daunting, just give us a call or an email and we can help you with that. So that's our portable solutions. And then we've got, if you are renting, you want something that's a little bit easier, you don't want to have to keep refilling it, then we do have some solutions that connect into your kitchen faucet. And so you don't need a plumber, you can do it yourself, and you can have a constant flow of potentially hydrogen-rich water with our hydrogen MIDI or our little EHM Vita ionizer, where you've got control of over the pH. And so a lot of people use different levels of pH for different things. I know that I've spoken to a few clients who just marvel about the effect that the acidic water has on their plants.
Yes.
And we have some products that supply ozone water, which is good for cleaning.
That's right.
And then really high pH, some people use it for some medicinal reasons, not for drinking. But yeah, there's a variety, and I think having a machine that allows you to use water for so many different things is quite powerful. So we've got those in terms of the portable, and then we do have some built-in solutions which are really good technology. So you're getting the Hydrogen Max, which produces really high hydrogen-rich water, and that would fit underneath your kitchen bench and would have an electronic faucet that comes out the top. And we've also got some bench top and under bench solutions for our ionizers, and so you can have a look at all of those online on our website, and it's more or less going and checking what's going to fit in your kitchen in terms of aesthetics and size. So it's all there for you, and matching those up with the right filtration, and you'll be good to go. So do you have anything to add to that?
Well, I just want to say is usually what I really enjoyed doing is actually talking to you, the client at the time. I really welcomed that I get phone calls and get hear about your needs and then understand your water supply, and together with your needs and where you want to go with it and what the water's problems are, we put together something that's just really appropriate and good and also cost effective. So yes, it's because we got a lot of do-it-yourself attitude these days, and go for it. If you find that's what you want to do, to just work it out yourself, go for it. But always remember that it's actually really good to get the experts into the field. It doesn't cost you anything. You only get the best possible service then. And so therefore I encourage you, call Ionza and talk to them.
Yeah, we've got a team there ready and waiting and looking forward to your call.